Hey, I'm Delia. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I get to take you on a home tour of an art collection in the City Park neighborhood in Denver with some former clients of mine, Myers and Steven.
So this particular rug is alpaca wool rug that we really like. That came from a friend's store, Conifer, but it was hanging on the wall forever, and we kept going into the store over and over and over, and we're just like, "Gosh, that is the most beautiful thing in the world." And we kept seeing it in her space, and I couldn't visualize it like anywhere but inside of her store. And then finally we went one day and we were just like, we just absolutely have to take it home today. Today is the day.
And we did.
And we did. And we had to come back and get it. And it took up the entire vehicle and barely fit. But it serves as like a center place. But also our dog likes to play on it and we like to stretch on it. So it's super functional. And if we spill anything, it just like blots off the top. But
comes right off. Yeah, and it's from our friend Caitlin's store, Conifer. Conifer, we have so many pieces from Conifer, including some of this art on this wall. But Conifer is located in Rhino, and it's very cool because Caitlin and her partner live in the store. So it's sort of like they live in the loft up top, then the retail space, the art space is down below, and it's beautiful. So we got this incredible rug from Caitlin's store. And also, I think it's just these three pieces here. And what's great about Conifer too is that it's all like local artists, not exactly local, but like small makers, which we really like. So these three pieces here, this bison, this kind of like mountain range, and then this beautiful like seaside cliff are all from Conifer. I don't know the name of the artist, but I love them because
it's Kelsey Shields.
Kelsey Shields. Okay, thank you, Stephen. This one to me feels, I think the reason that we chose it, there were several in the store. The reason that we chose this print is that it just feels really nostalgic to me. It kind of reminds me of a trip we took to Santa Cruz and like one particular place that we were standing and like looking out. And I grew up by the ocean and I really miss it being here in Colorado. So I just like to choose pieces that really remind me of a memory or feel nostalgic in some way. And the fact that it was like a local woman was just like icing on top of the cake. We have three of these black and white pieces. And Delia helped us find these pieces and they're just like absolutely beautiful to me. This was such a like, to me, it shouldn't be a big deal, but to me, it felt like this big deal to have this big piece of art in the space. I feel like I've never had a piece of art this big. But when I was meeting with Delia, we were kind of like, let's just go for it. Let's get like a big piece. This is a massive wall. We weren't totally sure how to fill it. But we have a theme of like butts in our house, apparently a butting butt theme. So I think this is called Pool Party. And why I love it is just like everybody's having a good time. And like, I don't need to see their faces to know that. So I just love the energy from this piece. It just makes me feel warm and it makes me just think of, crazy nights.
I just like this space this piece because I feel like a lot of big pieces like this, I actually want a lot of white space in it so it doesn't like overwhelm the room. But this particular one fills like the entire frame and still like fits in our space. We have a small condo, so if we like have huge pieces that overwhelm the space, then everything feels cramped. But this one, I don't know, there's magic in it. It doesn't do that. And it's fun.
It's really fun. Okay, in the butt theme, this is another piece. So this piece, Delia helped us pick out. And I, again, love the sort of mystery of it. For me, it was like, I don't know, I'm not even really sure what drew me to this piece initially. Sort of the mystery of it, the kind of like story that it tells. I feel like every time I look at it, I pick up new details, which I really love. And I feel very inspired by it. And I kind of like the mix of like industrial pieces with nature and The women are beautiful, so we're not mad about that. Yeah, so I love this one. This one we got when we were living in DC at a thrift store. I'm not even sure where that it was, but what really draws me to this particular piece is the fact that, again, as I mentioned earlier, like I really like things that make me feel nostalgic or like kind of remind me of like a micro moment from just like a memory that I have. And this particular piece makes me think of like a time my friend and I were on vacation and just like sort of the view from the Airbnb that we were staying in. And again, I just sort of like this idea of like the light and also that you're kind of peeking over and like maybe it's a mountain range. I'm not totally sure what we're looking at, but big fan of this one.
Yeah. I also like this one. It's such a like subtle thing, but it's always been broken like since we've had it.
Always.
I don't know, we both can be like perfectionistic, but the glass on this one has been shattered in the corner and no one but us notice it. But it just makes me very happy that for some reason we have this one broken thing. We're never going to change that about it. We're never going to fix the glass. And
yes.
yeah, it just belongs with us. So.
It does belong with us. And I think what's been cool too is that, so when Delia came in to help us like find new art and like figure out what our style was, we had a lot of pieces that we had sort of just in my eyes that we had just gotten randomly through the years. And there were some that I was just so ready to shed because they just felt completely random for me. This is one of the older ones that we have that I feel like fits us currently and also meshes well with the new stuff. So I also appreciate that. I feel like this has new life in it because of some of the new art that we have. Mm-hmm. So this one's great. And then if we move in here, this is by the same artist that had the woman with the butts. And what I'm obsessed with about this is that I just feel like I have no idea what's going on, but I'm really here for it. It feels very playful. We spend a lot of time in the kitchen. So, I mean, I never thought about having like a fridge as a part of like a photo in the kitchen or a print in the kitchen. But again, it just feels very playful and sort of like just mysterious to me. So big fan of that one. And then back to conifer for a second. This lovely little piece that is really just an olive oil canister, but I'm mentioning it because it's from Conifer, where our rug is from, our friend Caitlin's store. And what I'm realizing through conversations with Delia and like as I expand my definition of what art is that it's really like beautiful everyday objects can feel very artful to me. And so yeah, so this is just an olive oil container, but again, I like the sort of cow print and the ceramic piece of it. So.
And then we have more functional art on the ground in here too. So this one, as you can see, is another rug that is very filthy because we walk on it and spill everything in our kitchen, and our dog walks on it and spills food. But this came from a time when I was in Turkey and ended up in this completely random like rug thing, and these guys thought I was Canadian and thought I had a bunch of money, and this was the cheapest rug I could get out of there with. But it just like lends itself to the space really well. It like fits in this room, but it's bright and beautiful, and the patterns are so intricate, and I can't wait to get it washed. But yeah, it's just like everyday art, like the olive oil pour are really lovely and a huge part of our home.
Okay, so we have 3 different pieces by this artist. Her name is Geneva, and she lives in Colorado, and she makes these beautiful, like very simple but whimsical to me, or like kind of profound, depending on the piece, embroideries. So her company is called Small Peoplescapes. This one I'm obsessed with. I just feel like everybody's at a party, everybody's having a good time. It makes me happy the minute I walk in the door. So this was not always where this piece was, but after, some consultation with Subvert, I realized that like maybe art can go in places that I like don't often think about art going, like the bathroom or like in these kind of small spaces that otherwise would just be like this negative blank space, but I can fill it with art, which is great. So there's 2 more come on into the bedroom. There are two more small people skate pieces. These actually go together. And originally they were in different spaces in our home, but we kind of tried to bring more art into the bedroom, and this was like in practice of that. So again, kind of telling a little story here as we go left to right. Like the way I like to envision it is just these people. Well, that's the thing. I mean, maybe it does go left to right or right to left. What I love about this piece is that they work separately, but they were sold as a set together. And I just love the simplicity of them. I really, really do.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I always think that art like has to be expensive and it has to be in a gallery and it has to be behind glass, but these are just canvas laid on top of one another, and we put them in multiple places in our home and they kind of always fit. And yeah, they're lovely. They like don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be ironed or like anything like that or straightened out. They just hang up, and whether they're apart or separate, they go super well.
So this piece above our bed is lovely. We got this, we were wandering around one of the neighborhoods back in Park Hill, and I think a church was having an art sale, like a local art sale. I feel like we got this for a steal. It came with a frame. Just this man kind of walking in a neighborhood with all this wisteria and pine around. And I really like naturalistic elements in the home and as like subjects of the art. And I just think it fits really well above the space. And it was just sort of a pleasant surprise, which I'm finding that art can be like, sometimes it's like you go out and you're looking for something specific and then you don't really find anything, but just like being open to stumbling upon something can really bring about the most special pieces. This piece is one of my favorites. It's from an artist that Delia helped us pick out. And what is so stunning about this woman who's just sort of gesturing off, to me, what's so stunning is just like the shapes of the photograph, like the shapes of the sort of like scrim and her body. And like, it's just so beautiful. I also really love the desert and have like really fond memories, just being in the desert. And I just think it's absolutely like sexy and stunning, and not something that a year ago I ever would have had in my home, like simply because I just didn't feel like emboldened to. But now I'm like obsessed with her, and every time anyone new comes in, I'm like, look at our art. Please look at it. So love this one. Probably my favorite. Well, one of them. Again, another new piece, same artist, Gregory Prescott, I think is his name. And I just like, it's funny because when Delia was showing us like various different kind of like, the whole process is like you come in and she sort of shows you a whole bunch of different types of art and styles. And I was really drawn to this artist and to the black and white print, but I think it took me like a minute to get warmed up to this particular woman. It wasn't like I didn't like it. I was just like, do I like it enough to be in our home permanently? And the answer is yes. I don't know why I ever doubted it. It's absolutely beautiful to me. The contrast, like the black and white, the unlit cigarette, the hoops, like she has attitude, like she's just like got a lot to say, and also at the same time like feels very peaceful. So I really like the contrast in that, and yeah, one of my new favorite pieces for sure.
I like to make up completely different stories about like Gregory Prescott's art versus the other artist whose name I'm forgetting and feel guilty about, but I feel like his art he's actually hired in models for. I'm like, I don't know, are these his friends? But I think they're probably models because they've got this more standoffish attitude. And then the other artists we have, I'm like, these are definitely her friends. Yeah. These are people that she like loves and cares about.
He's in LA, she's in like Seattle, so that checks out.
Definitely checks out.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So she's got a huge group of friends to pull into her art and strip down, and Gregory hires models and all of them look exceptional.
They really do.
But this lady's super cool.
Very cool.
I like her vibes.
Yeah, I'm just hoping to emulate some of her like cool energy. So yeah, love it. I know it's a good question.
Definitely that we worship her. Definitely we've like built an altar and they're like, who is this person? And it's driving them absolutely mad. Like people from the street must be like, they worship her because they see us do yoga in here too, so we're definitely like bowing towards her. She's like framed in light. Like,
I mean, we do worship her, so it's not wrong. That's
they're not
such
wrong.
an interesting question. Oh, I don't want to touch the mic. It's such an interesting question. Like, I don't know what people think. I would hope that they think that we're sophisticated and like cool people that have art, but I hope it brings in like a sense of peace. I really do, because it's just like that's what it brings to me at the end of the day. And I love the way it's framed between these two lamps, and it is kind of this very like shrine-like moment. But I hope that it makes them think that we are just like peaceful and happy, because that's how I feel looking at this piece of art.
Thanks for watching that. I would love to hear if any of those pieces specifically resonated with you, if anything that was said stood out to you, anything that you care to share. If you haven't already, subscribe, like this video. It really helps my channel, and I will see you next week.